For my visit to New York City in June 2023, I really wanted to see Karl Lagerfeld, A Line of Beauty at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. So this was my first stop, and on my first day here, my first full day in New York. And as you can see, the iconic Met steps. It was quite busy. This was around 12 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon. So I expected it to be quite busy, and it was. So it was this is just me going into the entrance, and I took a detour, and I wanted to see this because I hadn't seen this for a long, long time. I do love this the Egyptian wing, and I just think it's so beautiful. And it's featured in lots of films as well, like Ocean's 8, and it was also on Project Runway once, if you are a Project Runway fan. And this was this was in the American wing. And again, I didn't mind getting lost. Getting lost seems to be a theme wherever I go. But I really didn't mind because it was really nice to just go and see this again and just to walk through it. And it was just such a lovely day outside. So this felt like the right time to be inside the museum. So when it comes to the Karl Lagerfeld, you have to go and scan a QR code to get a place in a virtual queue. And it was pretty instantaneous for me. I was only one person, so I got straight through. But I did see another few people having to wait for like 10 or 15 minutes. And you're not allowed any liquids in there. So if you've got a bigger bag, they make you go to the cloakroom. Luckily, I only had my trusty little satchel. So this is the first bit of the exhibition. So that symbol is explained in some of the panels. This gorgeous Chanel dress with the snake on it was really, really nice. It was very, very crowded though, and people were queuing up and bottlenecking into the exhibition. This is Karl Lagerfeld's table. Apparently this is where he used to like to draw and create and research. And if you've seen the film The Mysterious Mr. Lagerfeld, it will look very, very familiar to you. Yeah, so this was the area I was talking about where, so this was the panels. It was kind of hard to read the panels because there's always people there, and you do have to kind of like wait your turn. And so if that's something that bothers you when you go to an exhibition, I suggest going a bit earlier. So this, like I said, was like midday, and it was pretty packed, and people were just not moving at all. And it did, it was polite, but you had to kind of hustle and kind of, get to the front. And if you wanted to take any shots or anything like that, you had to really kind of like use your height advantage or kind of move in front of people. And there was like kind of no consideration. And it'd have been nice for the curators to kind of space people out a bit more. So this was like the Chanel and the Fendi part of Lagerfeld's career. And the idea is that they kind of group together his different, because he did so much, so it's all kind of like grouped together. And there was like lots of beautiful dresses and outfits that caught my eye. So for example, this Chanel, I really liked the texture of it. This was a Fendi fur. The thing was, I did find with like a lot of his ideas that it got to tacky really quickly. And this is a perfect example. I mean, what in the Forever 21 sale rack is going on here? I mean, I know some people really like this aesthetic, but for me, it was just not the one. I preferred the previous one. And like some of these, I just felt read a little bit tacky. I think one of the big takeaways I had from this exhibition was he had so many ideas, and it's great because you kind of see like the journey that he was on, and the kind of, he would come up with churn out an amazing amount of ideas, but there's also a lot of repetition. And I would have liked to have seen less of the repetition in this particular exhibition, because after a while you're just kind of seeing the same kind of dress or the same kind of ideas coming up again. But I want to caveat that by saying that when the ideas are good and he hits the mark, they are like, that's why he was so iconic. But at the same time, there is also some of the ideas where you look at them and, a lot of people were commenting, would this be something I'd wear? Probably not. Anyway, after the exhibition, I went upstairs to see the Lauren Halsey roof commission, which I thoroughly recommend if you've not been to the roof of the Met. It's lovely. And all in all, I would say if you are in New York, do check this exhibition out. It is worth a look.